Most people spend more time picking a Netflix show than managing their money. And then they wonder why they're broke. Here's the wild part, I'm not talking about lazy people. I'm talking about smart, hard-working people. People with jobs. With degrees. With goals. They just never learned this one thing. And here's a number that stopped me cold when I found it. Researchers analyzed 201 different studies on financial education. That's decades of research. Thousands of people. And you know what all that financial knowledge explained? 0.1% of actual financial behavior. Which means the way most people try to fix their money, reading about it, taking courses, downloading apps, accounts for almost nothing in real life. The other 99.9%? It's psychology. It's behavior. It's what you do, not what you know. And that's exactly what this system is built on. 15 minutes. Once a week. And it works not because it's clever, but because it works with how your brain actually functions. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete system you can start this Sunday. Here's the truth about money that nobody tells you in school. Managing your finances is not about math. It's about habits. And the reason most people fail, the reason people live paycheck to paycheck even when they earn decent money, is not because they don't earn enough. It's because they never check in. Think about it. When was the last time you actually sat down and looked at where your money went last week? Not a quick glance at your bank app. A real look. For most people, the answer is never. Or maybe once, after something went wrong. And that's the trap. You make money, you spend money, something unexpected comes up, and suddenly you're at the end of the month thinking, where did it all go? This is called financial drift. You're not in the driver's seat. You're just floating. And that's the trap. You make money, you spend money, something unexpected, but here's where it gets really interesting, and most people have no idea this is happening to them. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the Ostrich Effect. It describes exactly what most of us do with our finances. We bury our heads in the sand. Not because we're lazy, but because our brain is wired to avoid information it expects to be painful. Research examining millions of real banking logins found that people systematically check their accounts less when they think the news will be bad. After a weekend of overspending? Radio silence. And the result? Wild, impulsive spending decisions right after payday, because there's no anchor, no reference point. One survey captured this perfectly. They asked adults, would you rather check your bank balance or deep clean your bathroom? 1 in 3 chose the bathroom. That's not a joke. That's a real data point. The psychological discomfort of looking at our finances is so strong that people genuinely prefer scrubbing toilets. And this avoidance costs real money. Research shows people in debt lose around £55 every single month, not from bad decisions, but simply from not looking. Late fees. Missed cancellations. Autopayments for things they'd already forgotten about. Now here's what most people get wrong when they do try to fix this. They go all in. They download 5 budgeting apps. They build a mega spreadsheet. They swear they'll track every single cent. And it works, for about 2 weeks. Then life happens. And the whole system collapses. The problem was never motivation. The problem was complexity. And that's exactly what the 15-minute weekly money system solves. All right. So what actually is the 15-minute weekly money system? Simple. It's a weekly ritual, always the same day, always the same 15 minutes, where you do 5 specific things that keep your financial life on track. Think of it like a weekly health checkup, but for your wallet. Doctors don't just show up when you're dying. They check in regularly. And that's what makes the difference between reacting and preventing. Let me walk you through each step. Step 1 is to check your balances, and this takes about 2 minutes. Open your bank account. Look at what came in, what went out. No judgment. Just awareness. You're just looking. Write down or note your current balance. This one act, just looking, is more powerful than it sounds. There's a psychological phenomenon called the mere measurement effect. When you regularly observe your own financial behavior, you automatically start making better decisions throughout the week, even when you're not actively thinking about money. The check-in creates a kind of invisible guardrail. Your brain starts asking, "How will this look on Sunday?" before you swipe. Step 2 is to categorize your top spending, and this takes about 3 minutes. Pick your 3 biggest spending categories from the past week. Could be groceries, eating out, subscriptions, transport, whatever. You're not trying to track everything. Just the big buckets. And pay special attention to subscriptions. Here's a number that will probably surprise you. The average person spends around $219 a month on subscriptions, but when asked to estimate, they guess about $86. That's a 2.5 times gap between reality and what they think they're paying. People collectively waste over $15.5 billion every year on forgotten subscriptions, gym memberships, free trials that quietly became paid plans, apps installed once and never opened again. 42% of people admit they're being charged for at least one subscription they have completely forgotten about. 3 categories. That's it. But make sure subscriptions are one of them. Step 3 is to compare to your plan, and this takes about 2 minutes. You have a simple weekly spending target for each of those 3 categories. Maybe it's €80 on groceries, 30 on eating out, 20 on entertainment. Are you on track? Over? Under? No need to panic if you're over. Just notice it. This moment of noticing is exactly what breaks the ostrich cycle. Instead of avoiding the number, you're facing it calmly, once a week, on your own terms. And here's the thing, most people stop right here. They look, they feel bad, and they close the app. Don't be most people. Because the next 2 steps are where the real change happens. Step 4 is to make one small decision, and this takes about 3 minutes. Based on what you saw, make one tiny adjustment for the coming week. Not a life overhaul. One thing. Maybe you say, "I'll cook at home twice this week instead of ordering food." That's it. One decision. Small, specific, doable. Why just one? Because research on impulse spending shows the average person spends around $282 a month on completely unplanned purchases. That's over $3,000 a year. Not on things they love. On dopamine hits. And the root cause isn't weakness, it's the absence of any intention before the moment of purchase hits. One decision, made in advance, creates that intention layer. It's the difference between reacting and choosing. Step 5 is to move money with intention, and this takes about 5 minutes. Take a small amount, even if it's just 10 or 20 euros, and move it somewhere intentional. A savings account. An emergency fund. An investment account. Whatever your goal is. The amount doesn't matter at first. The habit does. Because here's what the research on financial stress actually shows, and this one really surprised me. Scientists found that it's not how much money you have that determines your mental well-being, it's how much control you feel you have over it. A longitudinal study found that changes in financial stress, not actual income, predicted changes in mental health. Moving even a tiny amount intentionally every week tells your brain, "I'm in charge here." That signal matters more than the number. And that's it. 5 steps. 15 minutes. Done. But the magic isn't in any single week. It's in the compounding effect of showing up every week. Here's the science on that. University College London research found it takes an average of 66 days to form a habit. For a weekly practice, that's just 9 to 10 Sundays. After that, not doing it starts to feel stranger than doing it. 9 Sundays. That's the whole investment. After 4 weeks, you know your patterns. After 3 months, you've probably saved more than you did all of last year. After a year, your whole relationship with money has changed. Not because you became a finance guru. Because you showed up for 15 minutes a week. Let me make this real with a few examples. Sarah is 28 years old and works as a teacher. She was earning okay money but always felt broke. She tried budgeting apps, 3 of them, and quit every time. Too complicated. She started the 15-minute system on a Sunday in January. Week 1, she discovered she was spending €140 a month on subscriptions she'd completely forgotten about. Netflix she shared with her ex. 2 fitness apps she'd downloaded during a New Year's motivation spike. A software trial from 2 years ago that had been silently charging her ever since. She cancelled 3 of them in 5 minutes. That's over €80 back in her pocket, every single month, just from looking. She wasn't irresponsible. She wasn't bad with money. She was just experiencing exactly what 42% of people experience. The subscription model is specifically designed for frictionless forgetting. Small charges, autopay, different billing dates. It's not a coincidence that cancellation is always harder than sign-up. By March, Sarah had her first ever emergency fund. Not because she earned more. Because she finally saw where the money was going. Then there's Marco and Lisa, a couple. Money was the source of arguments for them. Classic situation, one person is a saver, one is a spender. Sound familiar? They started doing the 15-minute check-in together. Every Sunday evening, with a cup of tea. Here's what changed: they stopped arguing. Because now they had data instead of emotions. We spent €60 on takeaway this week is a fact. It's hard to fight about a fact. You just decide together what to do next week. And this lines up exactly with what relationship researchers find. Financial disagreements are consistently cited as a leading cause of relationship breakdowns. But the real cause usually isn't the money itself, it's the avoidance of talking about it. When 2 people are both operating in ostrich mode, every money conversation becomes a confrontation instead of a decision. A weekly ritual changes that entirely. You're not confronting each other. You're both looking at the same data, calmly, by design. 6 months in, Marco and Lisa booked a vacation they'd been trying to save for 3 years. It happened because they finally had a system, not because they suddenly had more money. Here's something I want you to sit with for a second. Financial stress doesn't just feel bad. It literally takes up cognitive space. Research on what scientists call the bandwidth tax shows that money worries consume mental resources, leaving less capacity for your work, your relationships, your health decisions. Studies found that thinking about financial stress produces cognitive impairment comparable to losing several IQ points. And one study found that stress hormones like cortisol, which spike when you're anxious about money, can actually reduce brain volume over time. You're not just stressed about money. Unmanaged financial stress is physically affecting your ability to think. And here's what's important to understand: this happens regardless of how much money you actually have. It's the unresolved uncertainty that does the damage. The open loop that never closes. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine that every Sunday, for 15 minutes, you close the loop. You look at the numbers. You make one small plan. You move a little money with intention. Your brain gets the signal: I checked, I'm handling it, I'm not in danger. That signal breaks the anxiety cycle. Not perfectly, not overnight. But week by week. That's not a small thing. That's what this system actually does underneath the spreadsheets and the savings accounts. So here's the big takeaway. Financial education, the stuff they tried to teach us in school, explains 0.1% of what people actually do with money. The rest is habit. It's behavior. It's whether you have a system or you're just floating. You don't need to be good at math. You don't need a complicated budget. You don't need to change your personality. You need 15 minutes. Every week. Same day, same time. 5 steps: check your balances, find your top 3 spending areas, compare to your plan, make one small decision, and move money with intention. That's it. That's the whole system. And here's the thing about those 9 Sundays. The first few will feel a little weird. You'll resist it. Maybe you'll feel that bathroom cleaning urge. That's the ostrich in you. Totally normal. But push through those first 9. Because on the other side of 9 Sundays, the habit locks in, and suddenly, not doing it feels wrong. Here's your action step: pick a day right now. Seriously, just decide. Sunday evening? Friday morning? Doesn't matter. Pick one day and protect that 15 minutes. Then next week, follow the 5 steps and let me know in the comments how it went. And I want to ask you something personal. Think about your own finances right now. Is there a number you've been avoiding? A bank account you haven't opened in a while? A subscription you know you should cancel but just haven't? That feeling, that specific discomfort, that's the ostrich effect. And the fact that you can name it now means you're already one step ahead of most people. Drop it in the comments. If this was useful, hit subscribe. Disclaimer. The content provided on this channel is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. All opinions, analyses, and statements expressed are based on personal experience, personal research, and publicly available information and are subject to change without notice. No guarantee is made regarding the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any information presented. Investing in stocks, cryptocurrencies, ETFs, or any other financial instruments involves substantial risk and may result in the partial or complete loss of capital. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Nothing on this channel should be interpreted as a recommendation, solicitation, or endorsement to buy or sell any securities or financial products. All investment decisions are made solely at your own risk and responsibility. Viewers should conduct their own independent research and consult with a licensed financial advisor, tax professional, or legal advisor before making any financial decisions. The creator of this channel assumes no liability for any financial losses, damages, or other consequences arising directly or indirectly from the use of the information provided in this content.